All right, guys, it's 8:55, so I'll start going through these set of questions from the June 2021. So these are June 2021, 5129 Cambridge International Combined Science. These are basically the paper 1-1. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'm not sure if everyone has joined us yet, but this session is recorded and I'll share this session later on with you anyway. We did say that we are supposed to meet here on Zoom. It's because it's part of your attendance. And after going through those tutorials, as you see this question, we should be getting more and more familiar with what you're supposed to do. Question 15. So which statement describes the changes in kinetic energy? So kinetic energy is to do with movement energy. And how much do you move and how much do you bunching together? Bunching is basically another word for packing. And you are heated through 5 degrees Celsius, change of state to become liquid. So if you think about a solid particle is like that. And I should draw a better solid actually. So if I draw the solid particle are tightly packed, but then this is during change of state. So during change of state, the movement, they move a bit faster during change of state from solid to liquid. And there is a bit more space in between. They're still closely packed, but what happened is they do not gain kinetic energy? So they lose kinetic energy is definitely wrong because it's talking about heating. Heating means you provide more energy. So losing kinetic energy is wrong. So gain kinetic energy for all 3 of them. They move about rapidly, move around or slow down. They don't slow down. When you gain kinetic energy, you move faster and faster. So D again is wrong. So they fill up the available space or they remain bunched together. So they fill up all the available space versus they remain bunched together. I would think the answer is B. I haven't really checked the marking scheme yet, so I could be wrong here. But talking about this remain bunched together, that is tightly packed together, or they fill up all the available space, and that is what you know about liquid. Liquid can take the shape of container. If you pour water into any container shape, it can take the shape of container because it fills up the available space given. So we're looking at this to describe liquid, and therefore the answer there must be B and not C. Question 16. Question 16, you're looking at isotopes. So isotopes are defined as atoms of the same element. So atoms of the same element. So what is going to be the same if you are the same element? You're going to have the same number of protons, and then you're going to have different number of neutrons, And because you are atoms and you are atoms of the same element, you have same number of protons, so your number of electrons are going to be the same. So here it says same number of electrons and neutrons. Definition-wise, that is already wrong. Same number of neutrons, that is already wrong. Same number of protons, yes. Same number of protons, yes. But then same number of neutrons there, that is already wrong. So C is definitely the correct answer. Same number of protons and electrons, different number of neutrons. Question 17. So which statement about the formation of negatively charged ions? So negatively charged ions. Ions are not atoms. Ions are charged. Atoms are not charged. When you have atoms, the number of protons equal to the number of electrons. So you're looking at which one is correct. So which one is correct? Correct means not wrong. Okay. When you have negatively charged ions, it's because atoms gained electrons. When atoms gain electrons, then you would get to become negatively charged because the number of electrons is more than the number of protons. Electrons have a -1 charge, proton have a +1 charge. When you have more electrons than protons, you're going to get negative ions, and negative ions are what you call anions. Examples include Cl-, Br-, F-. When the group 7 atom gain 1 electrons to have completely fill out the shell, or you can have O2-, S2-, and so on and so forth. Where the group 6 element, group 6 atom they will gain 2 electrons to get to fully filled outer shell. So these are formed by the nonmetals on the right-hand side of the periodic table. So these are right-hand side of the periodic table. The nonmetals gain electrons. So formed by metallic elements, that is definitely wrong. Formed by elements on the left side, that is wrong because the left side contain mainly metals, the group 1, 2, and including 3, such as aluminium. Metallic elements will form positive ions because metals lose electron. When metals lose electrons, they form positive ions. And then the next one, option C, they say negatively charged ion when atoms lose electrons. Again, lose is wrong. Based on what I said, the nonmetals gain electrons, okay? So D is correct. When the halogens refer to group 7, VII. When they become halide, refers to these ions. Halogens refer to X2, such as Cl2, Br2, and I2 molecule. Question 18, which one about covalent bonding is correct? So covalent bonding will never be good electrical conductors. So good is definitely wrong there. They are insulators. Covalent compounds are insulators. They do not conduct at all. This is stated in your learning objective in your year 9 under bonding. Only the ionic compound can conduct, but ionic compound only conduct when aqueous, meaning dissolved in water, or when they are liquid. Covalent bonds are formed by sharing outer shell electrons, so that is correct because ionic bond is the opposite. Ionic bond is to do with transfer of electrons. You transfer the electrons from the metals to the non-metals because the metal lose electron and the non-metal gain electrons. When the metal lose electrons, you get positive ions. When the non-metals gain electrons, you get negative ions. And these metals are found on the left-hand side of the periodic table, and the non-metals are found on the right-hand side of the periodic table. So these two together give you ionic compound. So we already got our correct answer there, but let me go through the rest of it. Covalent bonds are formed between metals and non-metals. Clearly, there's a transfer of electrons from the metal to the non-metal. This is called ionic bond. The compound that you get will be ionic compounds. So covalent there is wrong. It should be ionic. Nitrogen is in period 2. So it's got 2 shells and it's in group 5, meaning to say it's 2 and 5. This is your first shell. This is your second shell. Okay. So what we have there is, let me see what's going on. Something's wrong on my screen. Okay, what we have there is, what is important is it has 5 valence electrons. Hydrogens will only share 1 electron. Therefore, what we get is nitrogen, share 1 electron with hydrogen. Nitrogen need to use 3 out of 5. It uses 3 in order to form 1, 2, and 3 covalent bonds because 1 pair of share electron is considered 1 covalent bond. But whatever you do, you count because this is 2,5. There are 5 outer shell electrons. You only use 1, 2, and 3 for bonding. You still have 2 more there. These are very typical dot and cross diagram. That is worth quite a lot of marks in structured paper. So be very, very careful there. Okay. Are you guys hearing me? Is it okay? I just saw someone's text. Okay, cool. All right. Anyway, session is recorded, so it will be shared later on. Okay. So D is obviously wrong as well. It forms 3 covalent bonds. 3 covalent bonds. 1, 2, and 3. This is not a covalent bond. On to the next one. We have only got like 5 minutes remaining. Which formula has the greatest? Greatest mean largest, the most. So you can use different English words. Number of atoms. This is very important. Atoms. Okay. So if you count from the formula, this is iron. There are 2 iron. So there are 2 atoms. But then what A means is there's Fe and Fe. There's S of 4 and S of 4 and S of 4. In reality, there's SO4 2 minus because there is the ions that come from sulfuric acid that will give you this salt called sulfate. And you get 3 of them because it's 3 times minus 2, giving you minus 6. And your charge overall must be equal to 0 because there's the That's the meaning. When you crisscross the valency, you want the total charge there to be equal to the total negative charge. So you need that to be +6, but you only have 2 iron. So each of that must be iron 3 plus. This is in your year 9 or beginning of year 10 under chemical formula. How you deduce the formula, then this name is going to be iron 3 sulfate. But this question is not asking you a formula. It's asking you whether you can read the formula and think about the number of atoms. There is 1 atom, 2 atoms. There is 1 sulfur and there's 4 oxygen. So altogether, 4 oxygen and 1 sulfur is 5 atoms. So when you have 5 atoms there, you have another 5 atoms there, you have another 5 atoms there. So altogether, 3 times S of 4 2 minus is 5 times 3, which is 15 atoms. When you have 15 atoms from the sulfate plus 2 more, then you get 17 atoms. 17 atoms for option A. Okay, if you look at option B, what you have is you have copper and then you have CH3COO, you have CH3COO. Let's count. There's 1 atom for copper. There is 1 atom for carbon. 1 plus 3 is 4, 5, 6, 7. And I have the same multiple of these, so 7 and 7. So altogether, I have 15 atoms again. Oops, sorry, not again, but I have 15 atoms for option B. For option C, this is slightly easier. PO4 and PO4, well, it's PO4 3 minus actually, but anyway. 4 plus 1 is 5 atoms. So 5, 2 of them, there are 10 atoms plus 3 calcium. So there are 13 atoms for option C. For option D, I have ammonium ion. NH4 plus is ammonium ion. This was ammonia molecule. So ammonium ion, 4 plus 1 is 5. I have 2 of them. I have 10 atoms plus 1 is 11. 11 plus 3 is 14 atoms. This question is asking me for the greatest. So looking at all these things, I cannot say this is the greatest unless I've checked for the other. So I've done this very slowly. You could do this very quickly and get it like that, okay? Question 20, I should be able to finish this in 1 minute. This is potassium oxide. So K2O is a metal oxide. So metal oxide is going to be basic oxide. Basic oxide means they dissolve in water. They'll give you pH greater than 7. Which one lower the pH? Lower the pH means acidic oxide, because you want to make the pH lower, you want to make it more acidic. So looking at option 1 alone, K2O is going to give me a basic oxide, which is greater than 7. It's going to increase the pH, which means option 1 is definitely wrong, okay? So 1 is definitely wrong, which means A and B cannot be the answer. Looking at C and D, meaning I need to check for 2 and 3. So if you look at 2 and 3, these are nitrogen dioxide, these are sulfur dioxide. They are oxides of non-metal. Oxides of non-metal is what you call acidic oxide. If you have acidic oxide, you are going to make the solution more acidic and you will lower the pH, and therefore the answer there must be 2 and 3. Okay, I'll leave it there for today because you need to rush off to your next class. So thank you, everyone. I'll just quickly take a screenshot of everyone who is present during this session. And yeah, I'll share it in the group chat later on when the video is done processing. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good day.